This video here is a continuation of the Migrate content for ArcGIS Enterprise and ArcGIS Online toolset. In this video, I will demonstrate how you can migrate reference ArcGIS server services between two ArcGIS Enterprise. Within ArcGIS Pro, I have a map with layers from different data sources. Here you can see I have a couple of feature classes within this map that are coming from an Enterprise geodatabase connection, another feature class coming from a file geodatabase, a shapefile, and a table that's coming from a different Enterprise geodatabase connection. I've gone and published this service out to my federated ArcGIS server instance. So here's the service, the Philadelphia County service I've created. And just to show you that this service does have some capabilities enabled, such as KML and OGC. Now what I would like to do is migrate this to my other ArcGIS Enterprise. So here's my original ArcGIS Enterprise instance, and I would like to migrate it to my new one here. To do so, I'm going to execute a tool within ArcGIS Pro to do this. In the Migrate Content toolbox, I have a copy reference services. We're going to open this up, and I want to specify my source portal URL. So I'm going to put in the URL to my source portal, followed by an admin account. And I can select my source user at this point. I'm going to go ahead and select the user that owns that account, and it'll go through and find the content, all the reference services that this user owns. I'll go ahead and select that Philadelphia County. And then what this will do is actually list out the data sources within this service. So I'm going to go ahead and expand this so we can see this a little better. So it's going to find all my Enterprise geodatabase connections, any file geodatabase, and shapefile connections as well throughout the service. What I have to do now is actually select the new data source. So here I can see the server that it's coming from, the database, and the user that it's connecting as. So here I'll select the Enterprise geodatabase that is used for my new enterprise. And what it'll do is map all those data sources to that new one. As well as here, you can see here the user's OSA, so it's using operating system authentication. So that is supported as well. I'll go ahead and select the add other database connection to change those data sources. I do have a file geodatabase here on share, so I'm going to go ahead and update that to another share, where I have that same file geodatabase. And again, for the shape files, I'll do the same here. I have that on a share as well. Once I have my data sources updated, I can specify my target portal URL, followed by an administrator username and password. Once I make my connection, it'll ask me which user I would like to migrate the service to. I'll select that account, which folder I would like to place this new service in portal. So I have the Philadelphia folder here. And then I can select which ArcGIS server instance I want to publish this to. So if your enterprise has multiple servers federated with it, you can actually select which instance you'd like to publish this to, and which folder within that ArcGIS server instance. I'll just place in the root for now. Let's go ahead and execute this tool and see what's going on and what will happen. So I'll go ahead and run this. We'll take a look at the details. So what it will actually do is it will import a map PX or MXD depending on where the initial service was published from. You can see it's adding it to our Pro project here. It'll then remap the data sources for each of those layers. And how it's getting to that mapX is actually dependent upon how your directories are configured in ArcGIS server. So here's my initial ArcGIS server site, taking a look at the directories here. I'm going to take a look at the system to see where this is at. So this is on the C drive of the ArcGIS server machine. So what will happen is actually it will make a connection using an administrative share. You can see here, this is where my mapX file resides that was just imported to Pro. How I'm connecting that is using administrative share by using the server name /C$. So one thing to run this tool, you have to be able to make that administrative share connection. So I have to run Pro as a user that's an admin on that ArcGIS server machine. It'll find this mapX, as I was mentioned before, it'll import that, update the data sources, and then it will start going through and modifying all the properties. For example, we can see it's going to update the KML server properties, etc. It'll go ahead then publish the service and move it to any folder that I've specified. Once it's complete, you can see I went ahead and deleted that temporary map that it was imported. And now we can take a look at the service. So jumping to my other ArcGIS server instance, let me just go ahead, jump to our root directory here, and here is the Philadelphia County service that we published. Let's take a look at the capabilities to make sure that they are enabled. We have a KML, OGC, and then we'll take a look at our portal. And we can see in the Philadelphia folder, we have that Philadelphia County service as well. Now, if the service exists, this tool will work and overwrite that service. So jumping back to my initial ArcGIS server instance, we can see I do have a airports service, and within this service, I do have feature access capabilities enabled. Say I wanted to make a change to the service. For example, I don't want people to delete features. I can go ahead, uncheck that capability, save, and restart my service. While that's restarting, I'll jump back to Pro, and we'll change our service to the airports one here. So I'll go ahead and select that service here. It'll show me the data sources again that I need to update. I'll select the new database connection for my other instance. Click OK. And then one thing that's important is I want to make sure, since I am overwriting this service, I want to make sure I'm selecting the correct information in the ArcGIS server. So if you see here, that service does exist in my new ArcGIS server instance. It's under this feature access, or excuse me, feature services folder. So I want to make sure I am specifying all that same information, overwrite it, or we'll create a new service. So select that folder here, and let's go through and run this tool again. So same steps as before. It'll import that map.epics file, update the data source, connections, update any capabilities that are enabled, and then begin to stage and publish the service. In this case, it will overwrite that existing service. So go ahead and publish that service. It'll then delete that new map that was imported here. And now let's jump back to this ArcGIS server instance, refresh the page. Here's that service that was just overwritten. We'll verify that the capabilities were updated. As we can see here, delete was removed. That's all I had for today. Please test this tool out. If there's any issues, please report them below and I'll take a look at them. Thank you.